Hi, what's going on, guys? It's Marcus here. Welcome back to the Vegan Transition. Today, we're going to talk about the best sources of protein.
Okay, so here's the big problem. You want to live plant-based and excel at your health and performance. You're looking for real ways to change your life and the world by reducing your footprint. How do we continue to perform in every facet of our lives and do it without eating meat and following the format that's been force-fed to us our entire lives? And do it on your own terms through a plant-based diet? That's the real question, and I'll give you those answers and more. I'm Marcus Watts, and welcome to the Vegan Transition.
All right, so check it. Let's get into it. So one of the biggest questions I get are the best sources of protein. Look, I'm 6'8", I'm 240 pounds. I'm a pretty big guy. I don't struggle to get the calories in. I don't struggle to get enough protein, just as well as I don't struggle in the performance side, getting strong, putting on muscle, right? We all want to be strong. We all want to be healthy. So when it comes to that, we do know that protein is an important part of that. Let's give a little backstory onto how much protein you actually need. I was just on another podcast earlier today, and I was speaking about how for most of my plant-based journey, I've consumed 100 grams of protein or less. And again, that's being about 6'8", 200, anywhere between 230 to 255 pounds. I've even been almost 260. The reason you don't need the amount of protein that most people say you do is it's kind of two-pronged. First off, a lot of studies show that it's about 0.8 grams of protein per kilo that you would need in order to get enough protein to help with optimizing muscle protein synthesis, okay? So I won't go too deep into the studies or anything like that. There's tons of information that you can find it, but basically what I'm trying to get at is that you don't need the gram and a half to 2 grams of protein that most people think, all right? Actually, you need a lot less for your body to perform optimally, and that's all we care about. Typically, like I said before, I would be consuming maybe in excess of like 3,000, almost 4,000 calories a day, and I'm only consuming, I'm consuming a much smaller amount of protein than in the past, like I used to. As you're getting deeper into, like, say you're trying to lift, or say you want your body to perform on plants and do it for aesthetics, right? You want to get like really, really lean. That's where your macronutrient intake is going to need to be a little bit more diverse. You're going to need to be a little bit more strict. But even when you're looking at plant-based bodybuilders like Namai Delgado or Tori Washington, those guys are normally consuming around 25% of their total daily intake. So TDI, your total daily intake is the total caloric intake that you have in an entire day. And about 25%, 20 to 25% of that needs to be in protein. Again, still a much smaller amount than you would have other times. Right. But in general, you're not going to need the amount that most people say you do. Again, it's around that 0.8 grams per kilo, which ends up being pretty much, it's not exact, but a lot of times it's pretty close to whatever your lean muscle mass is as well, or fat-free mass. If you have any questions about any of these, please post them to the comments. I'm here to answer them. So most people are struggling. They're like, man, what do I do for protein? I'm not sure, what foods I should be having and all that, and the whole complete protein talk. I've got a couple talks that I'll share with you guys later on the complete proteins. But the biggest thing to understand when it comes to complete proteins is that, listen, there are 9 essential amino acids, okay? 9. This is a pretty cool drill. If you're somebody that is kind of confused or you want to explain this to other people, this is how to explain it. There are 9 essential amino acids, okay? Those 9 essential amino acids, when you bring them together, they form a complete protein, okay? Now, when you used to eat meat, you know what I'm saying? You have beef, complete protein. It's pretty easy. You have chicken, complete protein, right? Things like that. Now that we don't eat that anymore, we don't have the same luxury all the time in having foods that are 100% complete proteins. But what we can do is take one plant that maybe has 3, all right, another plant that maybe has 2, another plant that maybe has 4 of those 9 branched chain amino acids, and we can combine them together in a meal or a smoothie, and we're gonna get that complete protein. I do always suggest that when you're looking up protein powders, that you do look up a protein powder that on the label it should say like contains a complete amino acid profile. If you're having some proteins, they may not have it. That's completely okay. But just being aware of it. Now, at the same time, there are also a lot of studies that show that the whole complete protein thing isn't nearly as important as much as you think, because your body's getting it from so many different sources for you to necessarily worry about that. You don't actually need to the level that many people say, right? I would also say, of course, we've got some amazing doctors that are part of this organization. Make sure that you consult your physician before you're making any changes with your nutrition or things like that. But let's go ahead and get into it. So the first things, I've got some numbers listed out for you guys that I think are really going to help you to kind of get an idea, right? Because again, we're talking about mixing certain foods together in order to get the type of meals that you need to get complete proteins and things like that. But here's some really cool protein sources. So starting out, nuts. Okay, so now it's going to vary. So different nuts are going to have a different concentration. They're not going to all be the same, but on average, you're going to get about 5 to 6 grams of protein per 1 ounce, right? Which is pretty good, okay? Now, again, you are trading off the fats as well with that. So it's something that you need to keep an eye on, but as long as you're making really good choices, you're gonna be fine. You can't go overboard and have an entire can of, nuts. It's probably not a good choice, right? Next thing are gonna be seeds. So in this example, I'll give you pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds are gonna be about 7 grams of protein per 1 ounce. So beside the fact that like pumpkin seeds are, have a high protein content, there are a lot of other things, a lot of minerals, a lot of essential vitamins and things like that are going to really help you out as well. So, pumpkin seeds, a good one. Just go online and you can look. There's like a lot of laws. You can just look at like the content, the protein content. You guys can go on Pinterest. If you guys are on Pinterest, I have a really cool Pinterest page on there. We get a lot of content and traffic every month. Just look at pinterest.com/ the Watts Guy Fitness. And there are a bunch of recipes and other things on there too. And you guys will find a lot of documents and stuff like this that'll help you out with both ideas for food and resources in general. The next one's going to be tofu. Tofu, you're gonna get, again, it's not gonna have a lot of fat content. It's gonna have a good protein content. I think it ranges from about like 4 to 6 or 6 to 8. I don't have that actual number. I'm sorry, I overlooked that when I didn't double check the numbers of it online. But tofu is another option. This is I'm gonna preface all this too. Let me just take a step back, guys. Some of these foods are not gonna sit well with you. Everyone's different. Everyone's bodies are different. Everyone's bodies are going to respond and perform different. If some of these foods don't work well for you, right, when you've had them, you've just noticed like, hey, listen, this is not good for me. Man, this is, my body doesn't, digest it well. Then just stay away from those foods that your body doesn't do well with and stick with your foods that they do, okay? So the other one is going to be lentil and lentil flour. So lentil flour is going to have about 8 grams of protein per 1 ounce. All right, beans, all right, on average about 5 to 6 grams of protein per 1 ounce. I'm more of a black bean guy. Some people might like kidney beans or other beans. It's actually good to mix up. So whatever seeds you're having or nuts you're having or beans you're having, it's a great idea to just mix them up, change them out, get different food or get different types in, because all the different variations are going to give you different minerals, different vitamins and things like that. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Don't get stuck into just one area. All right, the next one is going to be TVP. So if you've ever had a texturized vegetable protein, really, really great option to get like high amounts of protein. I think when you cook it, it ends up being like 1 cup is around like 20 or 30 grams of protein, literally. And it's super easy. You can get it in like big bags on Amazon, TVP, texturized vegetable protein. The bags are not super expensive, like $20, and there's like 50 or 60 servings in there, something crazy like that. You literally just like take it, you pour like warm water in there, you let it soak, and you take that and you go ahead and cook it up like you would anything else to preference. I'm actually working on I'm actually going to work on a dish where I'm going to try to do TVP in the air fryer. So I'll keep you guys posted. We'll see how that one goes. Another one's edamame. Again, this is just another soy product. And listen, if it doesn't fit well with you or it's not something that you have in your diet, don't have it. I'm just laying out the options. Some people have their preferences. Some people don't. Okay. Another one's chickpeas. Right, I love having a ton of chickpeas. You can make your own hummus. All right. Is it a super high content? No, but it's still got some protein in there. It's another option. Again, we're talking about pairing different foods together. And if you do that, then you're going to get a pretty cool mixture of things that can give you a really high protein content. Going back to the edamame, like edamame shells, I think like is it a cup or a half a cup? Dang it. I'm pretty sure it's like a half a cup is around like 20 grams. No, 1 cup. I'll double check. But anyways, like I have some edamame shells here. I can't remember what the sizes of them are, but it's about 10 grams of protein per serving. And it has like 2 servings in the bag. It's from like C Farms or something like that. And edamame sits fine with me. Soybeans sit fine with me. But again, watch your bowel movements. Look at how your body responds. Are you bloated? Things like that after having it. If you are, remove them from your diet. Don't have them. Find what works for you. Plant-based pastas are one that I really love. The Bonza pastas are great. They're plant-based. They normally have about 15 to 30 grams of carbohydrates, maybe 40, still less than normal pasta, and like wheat pastas and flour pastas, things like that. And they normally have about 15 to 25 grams of protein. So that's a great for the macronutrients that you're getting. Macronutrients are carbs, fats, and proteins. For the macronutrients that you're getting, that's a really good bang for the buck. And the last thing are like the plant-based meats, which I would say are probably like the last option. Do I have them? Yes, I have them sometimes. They used to be the bulk of my diet. Now they're not anymore. So that's kind of something to think about. It's something that's there for you to use, but it is still processed. Some, especially the ones that like, I don't like the ones that like already have like seasoning and stuff on them. I don't really like that. It's probably gonna have a high sodium content. You having a high sodium content, you're gonna be retaining water, among other things. So it's still an option for you to have. An easy way to cook them is in that air fryer. You guys will probably hear me talk about that a lot because I've been using it more and more, and it's just a dream to use. So yeah, I would say start there for your protein sources. See what works for you. See what works simplest for you. People always ask me about protein powder. I'll post a couple here in the comments, but I love using Life Fuel. Life Fuel has a great protein. I love the taste of their stuff. And I love what their message is about. They're very much involved in the community. They're very, very much about, doing better for the ecosystem and things like that. And I love their mission. There's another one called Naked. It's a company called Naked Nutrition. They make Naked Pea protein, and they make like a Naked vanilla and chocolate protein, pea proteins. So the vanilla and chocolate flavors, like it's just very faint. It's not doesn't have a ton of stuff inside of it. It's very faint, but it's just not like a plain, the chocolate isn't anything crazy. I still actually like to add like cacao powder to it, but again, it's still an option for you to have. So, anyways, hey, look, I hope that those were good for you guys. I hope if you guys have questions, you'll ask me, let me know. I'm here to help. Throw them out there. Any way that I can help, let me know. And yeah, take it easy, guys. Hey guys, Marcus here. Listen, I'm so appreciative of you guys coming and checking out the podcast. Thank you so much for taking your time to listen. And if you know someone that this would help, please share this podcast with them. Help us to reach as many people as possible and make a serious impact. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you get alerted when every new episode releases.